Do I brag enough about how I've always passed every interview that I've ever been part of and I've always actually gotten that job? I don't think I do, but in this video, I'm definitely going to. Hello, everyone, and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Michelle Expert, and I hope that you're going to enjoy all the content that is on this channel and that is actually to come. So on this video, I'm going to be sharing with you guys how you can sell yourself more at an interview. I know we are part of New Year, New Me. We're still really feeling fresh, and part of that is people are seeking for better opportunities, people are still looking for jobs, people are attending interviews, etc., etc. And having been in a corporate space, I've been in a position where I've had to interview people, and I was really saddened by how people don't have, for lack of a better word, interview etiquette. How people don't know how to prepare for an interview, where you can see potential in somebody, but they really just didn't present themselves well in an interview, and you ask yourself, do I take the chance or do I not? So on this video, I just want to share with you guys some tips if you are in the job market or you currently have a job and looking for another job elsewhere for a promotion. This video is going to help you really kind of quicken yourself around how you can better your experience at an interview and increase your chances of actually getting that job or promotion that you are looking for. All right, let's get into it. The first point that I'm going to be sharing with you guys is research the position and the company. Now, this is very important. You do not want to rock up at an interview sounding absolutely clueless about the position that you've been requested for and also the company that you're wanting to work for. You need to have so much information. By so much information, I mean that you need to know who the company is, what do they actually do, how many staff members do they have, has there been any recent news around the company, has there been any new things that have happened. You literally need to go on LinkedIn, on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, and really get more information around the company, the history, and what they're doing right now. What this actually does for you is during the interview, you can actually use different references around the company and news that you've seen about the company to make certain examples. So for instance, if you are being interviewed for, let's say, like a marketing position or an assistant position, it's easy to talk about how you would have done or how you would have executed something during the recent launch that they had about their new product a few weeks ago, right? You sound smart, you sound like somebody who's knowledgeable, you sound like somebody who's interested, you sound like somebody who is on the ball, and people love that. So do your research around the company that you want to work for and also the position. And also when you research around the position that you are applying for, always make sure that you think around, and this really takes a bit of time and energy, but it's very important. You think around how you would better that position. It's not always about you fitting into the criteria that they've sent you about the person that they're looking for, but how can you better that position for yourself and for the company as well, because every company wants value, and by wanting value, they definitely want somebody who's going to do more and who's going to be more than what they had imagined, essentially. So how can you better that position and give more value than what is actually expected for that position that you're applying for? So do your research. All right, and the second one is prepare an elevator speech. Now, my recent thing that I've been enjoying the most is watching Shark Tank, okay? And I love the fact that these guys get to come and they've got literally a few seconds to talk about their business, what they do, and how much they're looking for and what it is that they actually want. And I keep thinking to myself, this makes life so much easier, because having been in a position where I was recruiting before in a corporate space, I was really busy. I was seeing like 10, 15 people a day. So I'm not really trying, or I don't necessarily have the patience in between me trying to get my other work done. I don't have the patience of listening to somebody go on and on and on and on and on about or whatever that they do or their previous position or what they're capable of. But I want somebody to be quick, and I want to be able to understand them when they do that. And I noticed that it really just makes you more efficient. It makes you more straight to the point. It really makes you more trustworthy when you seem like you know what you're talking about. That's why you need to prepare an elevator pitch. An elevator pitch is basically who you are, your experience, what you do. And guys, you are requested to do an elevator pitch every time you go to an interview, because the first thing that they ask you, the person that's sitting right in front of you, they say, well, tell me more about yourself. That is your chance to shine. Don't go on and on about and then umming and umming. Do an elevator pitch. Tell them your name. This is where you're from. These are the things that you like. This is the position that you've been in the past. And these are the things that you enjoy. Here are your strengths, and this is what you thrive in. Make it quick, make it snappy, make it very confident. make it something that the other person feels like, oh, okay, I feel like I really got to hear more about you in a very short period of time. And I actually like that because it didn't waste my time, and it also gave me more insight about who you are. And you seem confident because you've practiced it. It's something that you know. So make sure you have an elevator pitch prepared for you that you can take at any interview, actually. But you have this elevator pitch of yourself, your identity, and just your work experience and how you want to be perceived and seen when you are taking this interview. Okay. And the third one is reveal your CV and your cover letter. I cannot tell you how many times people come in an interview and you ask them about something that's on their CV and they literally just go blank for a second. And sometimes it's because they're nervous, but sometimes it's because they've forgotten. And it's absolutely understandable because you're applying at 100 jobs at the same time and you're busy with this and busy with that, and you've been called to this interview. You're so nervous, you don't know what to say, but familiarize yourself with what is on your CV. I know it sounds so silly and so mundane, but it is absolutely important. When you familiarize yourself with what is on your CV, you sound a bit more confident and you sound truthful. Usually when you stutter, even if you're nervous, it makes the other person sitting on the other side feel like, does she know what she's talking about? Is this honest? Maybe did she just put that on just for like us to see? Is she being truthful? Is she being real? And you need to eliminate all those doubts by being absolutely on the ball with what is on there. If you've also done a cover letter at the same time, be in the know of what you've put on the cover letter and be willing to discuss those things at length, because sometimes they'll ask you about something you mentioned about you being a hard worker and ask you, what do you mean by that? What are the areas that you thrive? Be willing to actually be able to explain further to make yourself shine more in this position so that you'd be able to get the job that you're looking for. And step 4 is highlight your unique skills and experiences. Now, this is also your time to shine, and you can use this as part of your elevator pitch, but also you can actually insert this when you are asked questions throughout the interview. Now, how I would recommend you to do this is, let's say they ask you a scenario about a client and their company, and they ask you how you'd be able to handle this. What I would then suggest you do is you then plug in an experience of yours and say, oh, okay, that's really interesting. I actually had quite a similar experience at one of the jobs that I've worked, where a client did A, B, C, D, and E, and the problem was A, B, C, D, and E, and this is how I managed it. And I think in this situation, I would do A, B, C, D, and E because I thrive in 1, 2, 3, and I would do best in 1, 2, 3, and I love finding solutions, so I would be able to calm a client if there was an issue, but when you answer questions, always make sure that you're answering questions in a way that is able to sell yourself, in a way that sells your personality, in a way that sells your qualities, in a way that sells the experience that you've had, and in a way that also just sells you as a person. You know, those are important things that you need to really highlight those unique experiences and those like your USP. Sometimes it can be your experience, sometimes it can be the fact that you're funny and you're able to really kind of simmer down a situation when a client has hit it up, and you can give an example of something along those sorts that you've kind of dealt with. So this becomes very important. The 5th one is my absolute favorite. You do not want to make an interview seem like the person is talking to themselves. The 5th one is ask questions. Now, this is absolutely important because you've done research around the company, you've done research around the position that you've been requested to fill in. You need to have questions around the position, around the company, and around the culture. Because more than anything, what you need to understand is that an interview is not only for the other person that's sitting on that other side, but it is also for you. In this day and age, and I know that sometimes it's really hard when you don't have a job, but you really want to suss out whether this is a company that you also want to work for, especially if you have options. So you need to ask questions. Don't ask questions around working hours because then you seem like somebody who's a time watcher. Ask thoughtful questions. Ask questions around the culture. Ask questions around the dynamics in the company. Ask questions around what does the company value the most. Ask questions about the position. What does the company want out of this position? What value do they prioritize as far as this position is concerned? Ask those type of questions because they make you seem very thoughtful. They make you really seem like somebody who's super interested in giving their best in the position should they get the job. So this becomes very, very important. Ask questions. And this makes you also interactive with the person that you are actually interacting with, because most of them, literally, remember, they're probably seeing 10 people. They're going to be so exhausted, and you need to be memorable. And honestly, you will remember more the person that interacted with you and that really kind of left a mark on you because of the things that they were saying, their personality, and how they were engaging with you. And you definitely want to be that person. And the last and the 6th point is follow up. I scream about this all the time in all my other social media platforms. You need to be able to follow up on an interview. Now, this is what following up looks like. Following up looks like right after the interview. When you get home, you send them an email and say, hello, Jacques. Thank you so much for the email today. It was an absolute pleasure meeting you. I'm really excited about the potential of working at your company, and I look forward to hearing from you. This is an example of an email that you would be able to send to someone just to appreciate them having taken the time to see you and getting to know you better. What this says is you're a thorough person. You seem like somebody who's serious. You seem like somebody who's professional. You seem like somebody that they would want to work with, and that is important. If you don't get to hear from them, let's say they'll say to you, well, we'll contact you in a week or more. If they don't say anything, those are the kind of questions you then ask. So when would I be able to get a response around this job? You'd be able to then get an answer. Once you get that answer, it is easier for you after that time, or maybe closer to the time. If you don't hear from them, you send them an email and say, hi, I'm thinking a lot about the interview that we've had, and I look forward to hearing or getting a response from you after you have made a decision on that position, right? But you sound like somebody who's on the ball, and that's what you constantly want to sound like. Follow up, follow up, follow up. If the time passes and they don't get back to you, again, follow up on them. Also, should they then get back to you and say you didn't get the job, you definitely want to find out why. Literally, I would advise you to do this. Give them a call and ask, thank you so much for getting back to me, and it's so sad that I didn't get the job, but I wanted to find out if there was anything concerning the interview or my resume that disadvantaged me from getting the job. You want to get feedback. Maybe the person will say, well, no, nothing, we're probably vetting and we found the best candidate. Perfect. But you will get people that will be honest with you, especially if that person is a recruiter. They will be honest with you, and they will tell you that, well, you didn't have enough experience for this position, or well, you lived a bit far for this, but you need to get to here, because this is how you get better in your journey. This is how you also get better in your other interviews, because then you kind of know, okay, maybe let me say this, or instead of that, or maybe let me handle this, or instead of that, or highlight this instead of that. But getting feedback is always, always, always important. Now, these 7 tips, or 6 tips actually, that I've just shared with you are tips that you can begin to apply today. And remember, all of these things need you to be confident. I think confidence had to be the 7th tip. Maybe that's why I said 7 tips. But your 7th tip is confidence. You need to walk in there owning it, because there's no other you. And I know there's something about an interview that is intimidating, because you feel like somebody is poking and just asking you these hard questions. But you need to realize that in as much as they also want to get to know you, you also need to get to know them as a person, as an establishment, as a company, and the culture and all that sort of thing. And you need to walk in there with confidence, because you've got this. And I know sometimes you're going to be nervous the first few minutes, but constantly tell yourself that I've got this, and I am here for an opportunity that I deserve. And when you give yourself that energy, you give yourself that pep talk and literally that mental energy, I promise you guys, you will walk out of there winning, because you have direction on what it is that you are there for, and therefore you are exuding an aura and an energy of confidence, and that is important. And this confidence, more than anything, comes and shines within the way that you dress, because also dressing for an interview is 100% important. I've done multiple videos sharing this, that I would normally recommend that you wear neutral colors. Don't do bright, shining, especially in a corporate professional space. Make sure that you're neat. Don't do excessive makeup. Make sure that everything of yours is clean and seems very neat. And simplicity is always the best when you're walking into environments, because different environments require different things, and you don't want to overstep and you don't want to understep as well, but you want to make sure that you're kind of in a level ground as far as that kind of space and environment is concerned. So yeah, those are the tips I wanted to share with you guys today. More than anything, attending an interview is all about showcasing your unique skills and your experiences, and it is important that you go to an interview knowing what those things are. This means that you will need to have a bit of time with sitting with yourself and really kind of figuring out, what are my best qualities that shine? Ask the people around you, ask the people that are, within your space that you've worked with previously, what are your best qualities? Because those best qualities are what you need to really reveal and shine with, so that should anything, let's say you've got a weakness that it really is a weakness and you don't want it to really kind of showcase, you can then kind of cover that weakness by really kind of highlighting those things that are important to you and those things that you really thrive in and that you shine in. So thank you for watching this video. I hope that it was fruitful to you. If it was, give it a thumbs up and let me know in the comment section, what are the things you get nervous about? And maybe we can actually do a questions that you get nervous about, that you've been asked at interviews that you don't know how to answer, and I will help you answer those questions in a way that you would be able to sell yourself in the most spectacular way possible. So thank you again for watching this video. I love you guys so much. Make sure that you are subscribed to the channel. It is absolutely free and it helps me as a creator and it helps our channel actually grow. So thank you so much. I'll see you guys in my next video. Goodbye.